Hey there, it's Dave, and you're on the ADK channel. Unfortunately, we've got no Andy and no Kirk with me today. They are busy, unfortunately, tied up with other interview projects for the channel, so they send their apologies. But I am here with James, the lead singer from Millstone. Welcome to the channel.
Evening, Dave.
Excellent. We've got a few questions for you. We've obviously know each other a little bit from obviously seeing each other on the scene, especially at our favourite venue of all time, Club 85 in Hitchin.
Mecca.
It is the metal mecca of Hertfordshire at the moment. But we really want to talk, or I specifically want to talk about, obviously, Millstone. I want to get a little bit more of an understanding. So the first question I've got to throw out there is the band name, Millstone. Because I remember Andy came up to me at one of your gigs, and, okay, he was probably drunk, but he kept going, it's missing an E, it's missing an E. And I was like, what is he on about? It's missing an E. And then I'm thinking, oh, he thinks it's Milestone. That's what he thinks your name is. But obviously it's Millstone. So what's the concept of the name? What's it all about?
Yeah, we've had that a few times. We've had a few spellings of our names on posters as well. But the name Millstone, it predates me joining actually. But I've always really liked it. It's uncomplicated in a world of rose-bushed, napalm, baby caught death, etc., etc., etc. It's straight to the point, and it does not have a grand story or buckets of pretension behind it either. It's not trying to be something it isn't. And that's where the meaning has actually come from for us. We've sort of done it backwards. We've grown into the name rather than the other way around. Because that represents us really, really well. I mean, we're not trying to be something we're not. We're a great metal band, great killer music, and it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. And that's Millstone to a T.
So you said you joined obviously into the band. So can you give us a bit of a breakdown of the history of Millstone?
Yes, so most of us did not know each other before we turned up at the practice hall. I can't remember what it was now. We changed venues to Blue Shed after that, and I can't remember his name. That's terrible. But yeah, Carl and Lee, they're old friends. But myself and Si are both imports.
Right.
As an aside, Join My Band is a great place to meet amazing musicians, as it turns out, at least based on my experience. That's where me and Si came from. Carl and Lee stuck themselves out there. They got Si in, I think that was in June or so, during the first year of the lockdowns, and then a couple months later I came in, so I was the last of the four to join up. Most of us have got a fair bit of previous experience in other bands. I mean, Carl's been in a million bands, lots of hardcore stuff, some acoustic stuff as well. Similarly, Si's a bit of a slut. He's done loads of bands over the years, originals, covers, anything and everything.
Right.
Lee is probably the most virginal of the lot of us. You never know, he's a hell of a player. He fits in with us really, really well. But I don't know if he's actually ever been in a band before this at all. Certainly not one that's played live and stuff like that. But now he's with us, which is great. And myself, finally, I was in a hard rock band a long time ago before I moved down to England. But I did / still do a little bit, sing loads of rock, metal, even like musical covers online. But band stuff, this is the first thing I've been in for quite a long time. We are a COVID band. There's plenty of those around. We're yet another one. As I say, it was during that first couple of lockdowns that Carl and Lee had the idea. That was why I started doing it. I think it was the second lockdown. I was like, fuck this. I need to do music again. I need to find some outlet for this. So I'll jump online and find something. I'm not really sure what any of us were actually expecting. Again, similarly, there was not that great pretense behind it. We just turned up and gave it a go. But there was a definite, we actually have something here once we started to actually write some stuff after those first couple of practices. Excellent.
So you've just got kind of segued right into the next section, which is songwriting. So I'm incredibly intrigued. Maybe it's just me and viewers are not going to care at all about this, but I really care about this sort of stuff, is the songwriting process. Because there are so many different ways that bands approach it, whether it's the turning up in a room with no ideas and someone just starts jamming something and everyone just jumps in on it and starts spitballing ideas. Some people, one person writes a whole track and then gives it to everyone in the band and then everyone learns it and then you kind of finesse it. But how does Millstone approach writing music?
Yeah, firstly, I agree. I think songwriting processes are bloody fascinating because I think every band does it differently and every band can't understand how the other band can possibly do it that way. How does that work for you? Like when you see these bands that are, I think a lot of classic bands are like this, but really there's one guy that writes all the music and everyone else just sort of learns it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all, really. But the way we do it varies quite a lot. I love how we do it. It works really well for us. There's sort of two parts to this, I guess. So obviously at first I came in last, and they were not idle for those first couple of months that the three of them were together. So they already had like 3/4 of an album's worth of tracks just without any vocals to them. They were pretty much finished. They were ready to go. And so I just took those home on like phone demos, really crusty, horrible things, and just listened and listened and listened and listened until something came out. And Kings of the Sky was the first big success we had from that, and that's still almost certainly our most popular track. And that was the one where we thought, there's something to this. We've written a genuinely very good song there. But after that, we've got 6, 7, 8 songs under our belt doing it that way. And now our sort of day-to-day process is someone will come up with an idea. Usually Carl, he'll have maybe just a riff. Sometimes he has a full song, pretty much done. Because here's all the bits. What do you think of that? And we'll just play with it. But sometimes Lee as well. He'll have this is a really cool bass idea I've got. And then Sai will start to play off to that, and something will organically grow until it's pretty song-shaped. Barring a few notable exceptions, I am dog shit at coming up with lyrics and melodies on the spot. So I'll just stand there going, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I've just got something germinating there. Okay, and I'll do the same thing. We'll get a demo recorded at practice of the rough arrangement, and I'll go listen to it obsessively like a little for the next week, and then I'll come back with something, whether that's a verse or everything written out, and then we just go from there.
So I found it interesting because I was doing some work with Kim, who's the singer from Scarlet Envy.
Yeah.
So we were talking about doing the project that I'm doing with some of the guys at Scarlet Envy and one of the guys from Clockwork Sky. So we're all doing another project at the moment, and we were in the studio, and I just kind of set how I kind of work around the same sort of principle, sending the riffs out, sending the tracks out. And I said, right, when we go in there, we've got these 3 songs, we're going to work on them. Everyone's learn your parts, and then what we'll do is we will see how it feels when we play off each other. And Kim, I remember, said to me, she was like, okay, well, I know that in Scarlet Envy, they always like me to have the lyrics, kind of the rough lyrics done by the end of that studio time. And I'm like, whoa. No. I just want you just to listen and tell us how, if you think the verse is a bit too short or it needs a bit, just your first initial impressions. Do you feel there's enough space for your vocals on it? Then go away. We'll give you a guide track, and then you can go and work on it while we work on the next part of the tracks. And you'll get the guides, work on your vocals. We'll go off and start writing music for some other parts while you're working on that section. So we can all, she doesn't have to kind of keep pace with us all the time while we're working on just the guide parts. And it's kind of a much more relaxed way of doing it rather than putting the singer under pressure going, you've got an hour, write an entire song of lyrics for us, which I think is a bit harsh.
It might be just my massive gargantuan singer ego, but I think it does take a bit longer. That's how I've always experienced it. Like, Carl and Lee are great at thinking on the spot. Again, Lee, this is what I love about him. He's not one of those bassists that turns up and, okay, I'll just play the root notes whoever you're playing, Carl, and we'll get through this. We'll get through this together hand in hand. But he wants to do something different. He'll lock in with the drums instead, or he'll lock in with what I'm doing. And he'll just come up with a beautiful supporting part for the guitar riff within about a minute and a half. And I hate that you can do that. I guess that's our general setup. They take care of the instrumental.
Right.
I'll have a look at it. I'll maybe offer some stuff. We don't tend to write each other's parts almost ever, barring if you like maybe try something slightly different to that. But everyone comes up with their own thing. And then I will go away and come up with, after a lot of listening, a story or an idea or a feeling that I think fits it, and then the rest of it will flow from there. But it takes ages, and my fiance hates it. So I'll be sat in the house, play that shitty phone demo again. Okay, play it again.
Yes.
Hours of busy guitars, but it works. We come up with some really cool stuff off the back of that.
I think it's how my wife puts it. She goes, she becomes a band widow. It's she just, when I started with Telescribe, and I was chatting to Andy, obviously, because he plays in Nomadic Rain, and Leslie just came straight up to my wife Anna and just went, so you're a band widow now as well? And she was like, yep, I never bloody see him. He's either doing his YouTube channel or he's off doing band stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, it's my passion. That's what I enjoy. So
it's the same for us. We've all got long suffering, the millwags, we call them. They are long suffering.
Yeah.
It's not so bad for myself and Sai, because his wife, my fiance, love metal as well.
Right.
So they're able to get something out of it, but I don't think Carl or Lee's wives, girlfriends, fiancés, I've never checked. But I don't think they're anywhere near as into it, so I can't imagine how horrible it is for them to deal with.
So, one thing I haven't talked about yet is influences of the band, because there is definitely stuff that you'll get references of people when they hear you, but could you give us a little bit of an explanation or a breakdown of different kind of influences that you pull into the band?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we obviously wear a lot of it on our sleeves. It's not too difficult to pin a rough tail on our donkey. But we've all got quite different influences. There's a few key connecting points that we all love Maiden, etc. Obviously,
yeah.
we're a classic metal band. But we've also all got quite a different perspective on music, which I think is a big part of why we've got a vaguely unique sound. Myself, I think I'm the most into classic metal of the lot of them. I love Maiden, love Priest, obviously, but also a huge fan of Rammstein, and more specifically Till Lindeman's solo stuff that he does. He's a massive influence. I love the way he approaches songs. Not always from the most musical perspective, but it's terrific. And on top of that, pop punk is my biggest guilty pleasure in the world.
Oh, okay.
The shittier the pop punk song, the more I will enjoy it. There's a particularly I can't remember if it's Love Drunk. I can't remember who it's by. They're like a one-hit wonder, and it is a crap song.
Right.
But I love it. Besides that, musical theatre is huge for me. That musical theatre style emotion is the biggest thing that I try and pull into what we're doing.
Okay, yeah.
Distinct from classic metal. Carl is the metalhead of the group. Blind Guardian, I know, is a massive fan of them. Anything in that sort of area. Obviously post-hardcore as well, but I don't think he draws on that as much for what we do. Lee's an enigma. He loves everything. Anything that's got an interesting bass part or a really good bass player catches his eye, unsurprisingly. He just likes something that's a little bit different. Sai is just a bloody deviant, and I can't even go into detail on his fetishistic music influences, but he's a good drummer, so he gets away with it.
Fair enough. So I noticed you've spent the last couple of weekends in recording studios. So what's going on with recordings currently with the band?
So we've been at London Road the last couple of weeks over in, I almost said Ballstock. That's the festival, not the place. Baldock. Also very good. Yeah, we've been up at London Road with Max, who's been fantastic. Putting a single together. We've been choking to put some more music down since we did our first demo ages ago. It was like a year and a half ago now. So finally got some time aside to put some stuff down. And so we've been doing Path to the Grave, which is one of our favourite songs that we've ever written. And we actually just got our first mix back yesterday. So I have been listening to that obsessively and annoying my fiance for the last 24 hours. Sounding very good already. A few little tweaks and we'll be there. I cannot wait to get that released. That's a big one for us.
So would we be looking at an EP or an album? What's the next plan for the recordings after this track?
An EP would be good. Our rough plan, I should say. This isn't a dictatorship. We all agree on this. Is we want to get more recordings done. That's very key. But we're looking at probably early next year before we're able to do that. So our rough plan is we'll get this single out. We'll probably do another single after that. Then something else, some sort of compilation EP that pulls all that together, and just finally start to get into a rhythm of releasing stuff semi-regularly. And some merch wouldn't hurt either. That's one thing we've never managed to get. We're at the point now every gig is people go, there's no Millstone merch. I know, it's on the list. I swear to God I'll get round to it. But there's only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
I need to find the time. So that's very important on my list to get sorted out before Christmas if it's all possible.
So we've had quite a few shows in 2022. So was there any particular standout show that really kind of caught your attention of that is your most memorable show of the year? I was going to say so far, but with the amount of time that's left, we've got 4 weeks of the year left. No.
Sai's just started a new job. Well, he will be starting on Monday. So there's no way that's going to happen. But yeah, we've had a pretty good year actually. We've got to play a good number of shows. Again, being a COVID band, we didn't get to play live for ages after we came together, so we were really well rehearsed by the time we first went up. And probably still, we've had some really good gigs. They've all been fantastic, but the standout has got to be our Metal to the Masses heat, just because it was the energy that night was unbelievable. It was our first time at Club 85, which we've been back to a number of times since. And it was just 4 really good bands and a crowd that was very excited to see some original metal, which is sometimes difficult to replicate if you are, like, for example, we played support for Iron Maiden again at Club 85, but there's a different atmosphere when the crowd's there to see a tribute band. It's nothing wrong with it, but they're there to see their favourite Iron Maiden songs. So there's a little bit more reticence in terms of giving us a go, if you like.
Yeah.
Whereas it Melted the Masses, everyone was super into every band, and that was, just being able to play off that energy was amazing. That's stuck in my head ever since.
Because that was
next year.
Was that end of March? I think it was roughly.
Our heat was, I want to say
18th or something like that. March.
Ours was April, I think.
Oh, were you April? Okay. I know it kicked off around the 13th of March, so I thought you were Heat
like
2, but
no, we were like Heat 5 or 6.
Oh, you were Heat 5 or 6, yeah, end of April then.
It's the end of April, start of May, I think it was.
Okay.
That was a great show.
So now, I guess, end of 2022. So what's the big plan for 2023 for the band?
Yeah, recording's the biggest one. Get some more stuff put together. We're at the point now we've got buckets of stuff that we've wanted to get recorded for over a year, but it's just finding the time, it's finding the cash. Obviously this sort of thing's expensive, but time is more the issue really for us, because we're so all over, because we aren't all from the same time, we all have different jobs.
Right.
Everyone's always got something going on, so it's hard to dedicate days and days and days to do it. The recording's the big one for me. Getting some cool merch put together, just making more of an impact. To the moment we've only really got those 2 demos. We'll have the single out soon, but if by the end of the year we had 7 or 8 tracks out, maybe a compilation EP, some cool merch, I would be very pleased with that. That would tick all the boxes for me.
Excellent. Well, that sounds a bit of a plan for you for 2023. Now, I just want to say a massive thank you for joining me, obviously, on the channel today. Hopefully, the viewers enjoyed having our little chat. We will definitely be checking out with you again, definitely at some of the shows next year. Hopefully, either at the Metal to the Masses, but definitely at Club 85, because we'll be covering more of those gigs. But thank you for spending time with me on the channel. If you like this video, please do subscribe, click the bell icon, like and share, and we will see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.